Ayo, let's spark a match. Um, we are a little over 3 weeks away from WrestleMania 41. So, with that being said, the next few weeks here on the channel, everything's pretty much going to be WrestleMania focused. Now, much like the Super Bowl, or much like Super Bowl 1 and 2 were novelties, and Super Bowl 3 is the one that propelled it into the pop culture zeitgeist. The same can be said for WrestleMania. WrestleMania 1 and 2 were some cool novelties. But WrestleMania 3 is the one that just propelled it into the forefront. And it was like you were watching everything in black and white. And then once WrestleMania 3 happened, everything just popped in color. You know? The words game-changing and transformative were thrown around a lot. Let's pop a little button in the old grinder. But WrestleMania 3 truly was game-changing and transformative for professional wrestling. It was, at the time, the largest pro wrestling event to ever be held, in front of 93,000 people, even though actually it's probably closer to about 83,000, if we're going to be all the way honest. But that's not the important part. WrestleMania 3 was booked all around Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant. That is what drew 83,000 people into the Pontiac Silverdome in suburban Detroit, Michigan. But even though that's what drew them in, Randy Macho Man Savage and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat stole the fucking show. This was the match that made me obsessed with professional wrestling, man. If you go back and watch WrestleMania 3, it's not a bad card. It's not a bad card. But this match did not look like anything else on that card. It was so ahead of its time, and it was that word transformative again. It was transformative. That match right there is the direct result of the professional wrestling you see today. It just is. If you take anybody from that, CM Punk, Chris Jericho, Triple H era, those guys, they will tell you their favorite match is Ricky the Dragon Steamboat and Randy Macho Man Savage from WrestleMania 3. But how did we get there? Well, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat came into the World Wrestling Federation in February of '85, right before WrestleMania 1. He was coming in from Jim Crockett Promotions, the Mid-Atlantic Wrestling Territory. And he was just coming off a very, very, very heralded and legendary rivalry with the Nature Boy Ric Flair. Through 77 all the way until 84, these two either wrestled or teamed or wrestled again and teamed and wrestled, but they were just connected at the hip. And Steamboat felt like he needed something different. As much as he loved the matches with Flair, he just did not think Dusty Rhodes, who just came in to be the booker the previous year, saw a lot for him. So Ricky Steamboat went into Starrcade 84 and wrestled Tully Blanchard and left the promotion shortly after. Showed up in the WWF in February of '85. Wrestled Matt Bourne at WrestleMania 1. Then went into a feud with Jake the Snake Roberts for most of 1986. Randy Savage came to the WWF in July of 86, or July of 85, I'm sorry, came in July of 1985 from the Memphis territory after coming off a year-long rivalry with Jerry the King Lawler. Randy Savage is in what today's lingo would be an indie darling. People were people knew Steamboat, but people were very, very hip to Savage. Savage was a prize commodity, and he decided to join the World Wrestling Federation and came in July of 85. And just a few short months after, was put in an Intercontinental Championship program with Tito Santana. Savage and Tito had some good matches. Savage beat Tito for the belt in early 86. And then went into like a very short rivalry with the legendary Bruno Sammartino, who was well past his prime at this point. That only lasted a few months. And then he went into a rivalry that lasted a little bit over a year with George the Animal Steele. Now, for kids, this may have been an entertaining rivalry. You know, you had like the ape George Steele who couldn't speak and had the green tongue and 8 turnbuckles, and he was a character. Not the best wrestler in the world. Not even close. But he went into this rivalry with George Steele, and although if you were a kid, the rivalry was entertaining, man. But it did not showcase the Macho Man the way the Macho Man's talents needed to be showcased. So, we go into, I believe it was October or November of 1986. Coming off his rivalry with Jake the Snake Roberts, Ricky Steamboat was granted an Intercontinental Championship match against Randy Savage. Well, Randy Savage wins the match by countout, but after the match, grabs the ring bell, and from the top rope delivers a couple ring bell shots to Ricky Steamboat's throat, which crushed his larynx. And then you had Steamboat out for a while, and then you started getting vignettes of Steamboat going to these speech therapy classes to learn how to talk again. This was fucking ridiculous. Like they were ridiculous. Like, you go back and watch them now, they were comical. But man, when you was a kid, you was like, holy shit, he took Ricky Steamboat's voice. Ricky Steamboat can't talk anymore. He has to learn how to talk all over again. And like, you go back and watch them now, they're comical. But so this rivalry had fired up to the point to where it could only be settled at WrestleMania. So, in front of the largest crowd at that time to ever witness a professional wrestling match, Ricky Steamboat and Randy Savage go out and proceed to change the entire professional wrestling business in the span of 15 minutes, man. And that's the truth. But I got to go back to, like, okay, before Savage comes to the ring, before either one of them come to the ring, it goes to some pre-taped interviews that they did earlier in the day. And man, Savage just gives one of the most classic promos in wrestling history, man. You go back and watch that WrestleMania 3 promo where he ends it with, "History beckons the Macho Man." And bro, man, I love it. But there has never, like, up to that point, nobody in the United States has really seen a match like this, man. It was so fast. And an era where it was just all big men, a slow prodding, just two big men beating on each other, man. These two went out there and had an athletic contest. It was fast. There was no wasted movements at all. Like, it got started and it just went and went and went and went and didn't stop until there was a pinfall, man. And there's a good backstory to that this was the first time that really anybody had planned out a match like this. Because before it was all the art of crowd manipulation. You go in there and you listen to the crowd and you let the crowd take you where you're going. These two switched that, man. Randy Savage was a stickler for being prepared, man. That was his thing. Like, he prepared everything. And they went out and they took the crowd where they wanted the crowd to go. They told the story. They were in charge of the story. So they planned out this match and went over it and went over it and went over it countless times. Like, they would quiz each other. Like, Steamboat would see Savage across the way and he would be like, Randy, what's move 58? And then Randy would give him move 58 and then proceed to go over the rest of the match with him. They had it planned out to like 120 moves. And like, bro, there was not a wasted movement in any of it, man. I mean, I know that kind of like, spoils how the sausage is made. But honestly, I don't care how the sausage is made as long as it's good fucking sausage. And this was good fucking sausage, y'all. So, what we're going to do is we are going to finish rolling this little spliff here. And then we are going to go back all the way back in our Wayback Machines on YouTube and go to March 29th, 1987, the Pontiac Silverdome, Wrestlemania 3, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat challenging the Macho Man Randy Savage for the World Wrestling Federation Intercontinental Championship. So, we've got this rolled. What we're going to do is we're going to spark this up. We're going to go watch this match. And that's the plan. So, spark up, go back, watch Ricky the Dragon Steamboat versus Randy Macho Man Savage, WrestleMania 3. Leave it in the comments. Tell me what you think about it. Give me a like, give me a subscribe. I'll holler at you guys on the flip, man. See ya.